Okay. Okay. Lesson 1, grammar, active and passive, personal and impersonal. So we have personal and personal cases today from active and passive. So before I start this, I have to tell you what's active and passive very quickly. Okay, first slide says, what's the passive voice? A sentence begins with a subject, verb, and an object. When I have the sentence, subject, verb, and an object, this is active, not passive. Like what? For example, Philip cleaned the room. Philip is the subject, cleaned is the verb, the room is the object. So this is an active voice. Why? Because I started with the subject, Philip, and then here, what did he do? He cleaned. Cleaned what? Cleaned the room. So this is active one. Okay, but what's passive? Have a look at this. When I say that if we begin the sentence with the object, لو بدأنا الجملة بالobject أو بالمفعول به زي ما بنقول في العربي, or person that the action is performed on, we formulate the passive. Let's take an example. خلينا نشوف مثال على كده. The room was cleaned. أنا هنا I started with the room. The room, which is the object. Okay, what happened was cleaned by Philip. I can stop at the room was cleaned. ليه؟ لأن المهم عندي إن أنا أعرف الأكشن اللي هو was cleaned. Okay, not by who cleaned the room, it doesn't matter معايا, بس أهم شيء إنه the room was cleaned. Okay, so let's see إنه here how can I formulate the passive. Normally, I have to use verb to be, as you can see, plus PP, past participle of the verb, third form of the verb, أو التصريف الثالث للverb زي ما إحنا بنقول. يبقى لازم عندي verb to be. verb to be يكون شكله إيه؟ أنا دلوقتي هعرض لكم كل أشكال verb to be اللي أنا هتعامل معاها في all the tenses that I have. Okay? Let's look at that. Okay, when should we use the passive voice? We should use the passive voice if we don't know who the subject is. يعني لو ما نعرفش مين هو السبجكت أنا ممكن أستخدم الباسيف على طول. Or it's not important. أو لو أو السبجكت بتاعي مش important إن أنا أعرفه. Number 2, when it's clear to the listener. لو هو معروف من سياق الكلام. Like this, the package was delivered. دي passive طبعا لأن أنا عندي هنا underlined was delivered. Okay, by whom مش مهم عندي لأنها معروفة. هيبقى الباكج delivered by whom واضحة في الكلام. The subject is expected to be by the mailman. يبقى معروف جدا اللي هيرسل الباكج بتاعتي هو الميلمان، فهي معروفة فمش لازم أذكرها، عشان كده على طول هي passive. Okay, طيب. Right now, let me tell you all the forms. خليني أقول لكم على كل الفورمز بتاعت الباssive. How to formulate the passive voice. Start with the object. Number 2, conjugate the verb. هنصرف verb to be in the same tense as the active tense. Number 3, put the main verb in the past participle. هنحول الverb الأساسي للجملة للتصريف الثالث from a form of the verb. Like, I'll give you an example. The boy uses old computers. This is active. Let's change it into passive. Old computers are used by the boy. Okay, let's underline the verb uses. Uses in which tense? In the present. What's verb to be in the present? Is and are. Okay, so old computers, plural. Computers, plural. So I will use are, not is. So old computers are used by the boy. Okay, this is how can we make the passive form. Okay, like verb to be plus EP or past participle of the verb, third form of the verb. Okay, right now let's have a look at different tenses. Okay, If I have present simple, due, the verb is due, so the passive is done. If I have the tense past simple, did, so the passive will be was done. If I have the tense future simple, will do, so the passive will be will be. If I have the tense present continuous, means I'm doing, I am doing it. Passive will be is being done. If I have past continuous, was doing, passive was being done. Okay, if I have future continuous, I'll be doing it. So the passive will be it will be being done. Of course, you will not need to know this because it's not so common, but I want you just to know it. Present perfect, which you will see a lot actually. I have done it. So passive, it has been done. Okay. Past perfect, I had done it. Passive, it had been done. And I'll give you an example. The customers gave a good feedback about the company. So where is the verb? Gave. So here gave is simple past. So let's have a look at, yes, this is the simple past or past simple. If I have past simple, so I will use was. Of course, was or were, but if it's singular, I will use was. طبعا لو مفرد هستخدم was، لو جمع هستخدم were. It was done. Here, of course, the verb في الباست gave هنحولها a good feedback was given about the company, of course, by the customers. Okay, a good feedback was given. So past, I will use was and were. Okay, is that clear? So let's today talk about the cases that I have personal and impersonal passive. طيب بستخدمهم امتى البيرسونال والامبيرسونال passive او الكيسز دي بستخدمها امتى؟ بستخدمها مع opinions, beliefs, thoughts, feelings. Okay, حد قال، حد بيعتقد كده، حد بيفكر، حد رأيه كده، يعني حاجة من بعيد كده طايرة. اوكي، فأنا بستخدمهم of course to make formal speech. عشان أعمل إيه؟ عشان أعمل formal speech أو الكلام يبقى formal رسمي. اوكي، verbs used، ايه الافعال اللي انا بستخدمها مع ال impersonal passive sentences؟ بستخدم طبعا زي ما انتم شايفين كده claim، consider، believe، expect، think، know، say، report. كل الverbs دي انا بستخدمها زي ايه؟ it is claimed، it is considered، it is said، it's reported، it's of course think الباست بتاعها أو ال third form of the verb thought. think، thought، thought. It is thought، it's known، it's expected، it's believed, and so on. Okay, so these are the verbs used with the impersonal and personal passive. So there is a way in which you can change the active form to the impersonal passive. ازاي اقدر احول الجمله من active الى impersonal passive؟ خليني اديكم الرول او القاعده بتاعتها علشان يبقى سهل ان انا احل. active sentence: people think that. have a look. People think that the tests produce false positives. طيب احول الجمله دي ازاي؟ زي ما انا هقول لكم دلوقتي. الجملة بتاعتي بتقول it، استخدم بعدها verb to be، استخدم بعدها PP or a third form of reporting verb اللي هو think. reporting verb اللي هو think اللي بالأحمر قدامنا ده plus that زي ما احنا شايفين that، واللي بيجي بعد that اسمه الclose. that close. close هنا يعني الجملة كاملة، هتلاقي tests يعني subject، produce يعني verb، false positives يعني object، يعني بعد that يجي عندي close أو جملة كاملة. هو ده الفورم اللي أنا همشي عليه عشان أحول من active ل impersonal passive. اوكي، خلينا نشوف الإجابة. people think that the tests produce false positives. الإجابة هتبقى it's thought، يبقى it زي ما احنا شايفين it اهي، verb to be هيبقى is، PP هيبقى thought. it's thought that the tests produce. طبعا الجملة اللي بعد ذات كلها ما بتتغيرش، بتنزل زي ما هي، بغير في الجملة الأولانية بس اللي هي بتاعة reporting verb. يبقى verb to be PP of the reporting verb is thought. Okay. There is a way in which you can change the active form to the personal. طبعا أنا عندي الفرق ما بين personal impersonal، إنه impersonal بيبقى formal أكتر، personal بيبقى أكتر قريب جدا للأكتيف فورم. خلينا نشوف إحنا بنفورميوليت أو بنكون personal إزاي. نفس الجملة people think that the tests produce false positives. طب الرول عندي بتقول ايه؟ الرول عندي بتقول انه انا ببدأ على طول السبجكت اللي بعد that اللي هو the tests، وبعد كده بحط that close plus passive plus to infinitive. Let's see how. The tests are thought. يبقى أنا عندي think هنا اللي هي number 2 بتنزل إيه؟ are thought verb to be، وبحول دي للPP followed by to infinitive to produce. أوكي؟ يبقى على طول هبقى عارف إنه بعد that هستخدم السبجكت اللي بعد that وهبدأ بيه الجملة اللي هي ده tests، وبعدين بعد كده أستخدم number 2 دي أحولها للباسيف بتاعي. طبعا tests هنا plural يعني جمع، فطبعا هستخدم are مش is. the tests are thought، وبعدها الverb اللي هو produce هيجي infinitive. infinitive يعني ايه؟ يعني بحط to plus infinitive. Okay, this is how can I make the personal passive. Okay, before I start the second grammar lesson, let's switch to some exercises to check your understanding, if you understood this or not. Okay, question number 1. Of course, we'll select the correct word or phrase to complete each sentence. Question number 1. I want you to select the correct answer. Space. Number 1, that user flows should be presented with more detail to avoid losing customer attention. Okay. تفتكروا الإجابة الصحيحة هتكون إيه؟ It has understood ولا it understands ولا it's understood. طبعا of course لو نبص كده على الكويستشن نمبر 1 هنشوف ان في السنتنس اللي ادهاني عندي كلمة that user يعني معناها impersonal passive. impersonal passive هنا انا قلت ان احنا بنكونه ازاي؟ ان احنا بنستخدم verb to be والتصريف الثالث PP to the verb. It's understood. So it's understood that users. برافو عليكم. يبقى الإجابة الصحيحة it's understood that user flows should be presented with more detail to avoid losing customer attention. Number 2, question 2. Single sign on functionality space. to be a standard for identity providers. What do you think? It's considered, is considered. What do you think? Of course أنا عندي هنا personal passive لأنه عندي to be و to be دوت الانفينيتيف اللي أنا قلت عليه وقبله بيجي الباسيف بتاعي الباسيف اللي هو is considered. So choice number 3 is the correct one. Single sign-on functionality is considered to be a standard for identity providers. Question number 3. It was our goal, space, at the end of the month, but I'll suggest keeping a balance between delivery and meeting customer needs. What do you think? Yes, bravo عليكم. It was our goal to release it. Of course طبعا released غير صحيحة ما فيش verb to be هنا ما اقدرش اكون بيها passive. To be released هنا برضو إجابة غير صحيحة. الإجابة الصحيحة to release it. Question number 4. The feedback space show that demand for user experience improvements has increased. So the feedback is expected to show. Is expected passive to show that demand for. Okay. Next, question number 5, the last option, space, the best option. What do you think? The last option is thought to be the best option. Of course طبعا هنا هي personal passive is thought to be. Question number 6, the team نقدر نختار has known ولا نقدر نختار is known ولا نقدر نقول the team knows that the feedback results will show more demand for user experience improvements. The team singular مفرد knows that. Okay, this is active, not passive. This is active voice. And this is simple present knows, simple present singular. The team knows that. Okay. Okay. So let's right now have a look at section 2, grammar, relative pronouns. Okay, when I talk about the relative pronouns معناها الأسماء الموصولة أو الضمائر الموصولة أو ضمائر الوصل. إيه هي؟ زي ما احنا شايفين على السكرين كده. Who, which, that, whose, whom, where, when, why. Okay. When and why to use relative pronouns. امتى بستخدمها وبستخدمها ليه؟ Relative pronouns هي who, which, that, whose, whom, okay, where, when, why. Let's have a look at the first who, which, that, whose, and whom. امتى بستخدمهم وبستخدمهم ازاي؟ are used after a noun. بستخدمهم بعد الاسم. ليه بستخدمهم بعد الاسم؟ to make it clear which person or thing we are talking about. عشان نوضح أنا بتكلم عن إيه الشخص أو الشيء اللي أنا بتكلم عنه. وليه كمان to give more information about that person or thing، وعشان أدي معلومة إضافية أو زيادة عن الشخص أو الشيء اللي أنا هتكلم عليه. The information that follow the relative pronoun، المعلومة اللي على طول بتيجي بعد ال relative pronoun اسمها relative clause. اسمها إيه؟ relative clause. Okay. How to use the relative pronouns? Let's have a look at that. The part that gives the information is called relative clause. Okay, which relative pronoun must be used? أستخدم أي relative pronoun مع ال people. أستخدم who, that, whose. Who. Let's have a look at that. The manager أهو بني آدم وعاقل، أستخدم معاها who. The manager who voted for the best employees. Next, the manager that. الله، انت قلتي انه المانجر ده personal عاقل، استخدم معاه هو. طب انت قلتي that. ايوه، مع ال people ينفع استخدم who، ينفع استخدم that. Both of them are the same. Okay. Next, the manager whose vote. هنا whose برضو جت مع المانجر. ايوه، بس هنا استخدمت whose للملكية اللي الفوت بتاعه. whose vote. Okay. Whose vote was for the best employees. Whom? The customer whom I received the reports from. whom هنا بتعود على مش على السبجكت، على الأوبجكت اللي أنا استلمت منه. The customer العميل اللي أنا استلمت منه هو whom. Okay. وطبعا هي formal. The customer from whom I received the reports دي very formal. From whom very formal. Okay. Number 2 يبقى number 1 people واستخدمنا معاها who و that. Number 2 objects يعني أشياء يعني غير عاقل، استخدم معاها which و that و whose. الله، عندي برضو that. أيوة، that بتيجي مع العاقل ومع غير العاقل. أوكي. خلينا نشوف examples. The laptop that I borrowed. Of course laptop هنا object غير عاقل، بستخدم مع that. Okay. The report which I wrote. report هنا طبعا object وغير عاقل which I wrote. The team whose manager اللي المانجر بتاعه is always ready. هنا برضو object مش ال subject. whose manager. أنا عندي هنا whose manager دي للملكية، اللي المانجر بتاعه whose manager. Okay. possessive يعني. Place, time and reason. يبقى number 1 people, number 2 object, number 3 places, time and reason. Okay. Where, when, why. Okay. The company where we met. أنا اديت معلومة هنا على الكومباني. أي company where we met اللي إحنا اتقابلنا فيها. Okay. ده كده place طبعا مكان. The company at which we met. at which أنا استخدمتها هنا بشكل فورمال، يعني ممكن أستخدم at which اللي إحنا اتقابلنا فيها at which، بس دي فورمال. Okay. The day when we have to deliver the new products to customers. The day when. يبقى this is a time. اليوم اللي إحنا have to deliver لازم نسلم فيه. Okay. ممكن استخدمها برضو بشكل فورمال ازاي؟ on which. يبقى لو place أقول at which، لو time أقول on which، لو حبيت أستخدمها بشكل formal. Okay, that's why we had to finish the report quickly. Why? Of course, the reason يعني سبب. Okay. Can we drop the relative pronoun? Sometimes, but I just want you to have a look at a little bit of exercises Let's have a look at exercise number 1. Okay, select the correct word or phrase to complete each sentence. Question number 1. Talking to the customer service team is space they should be doing. Okay. Talking to the customer service team كل ده بقول عليه ايه؟ بقول عليه ايه؟ كل ده السبجكت بتاعي is who ودي قلنا بنستخدمها مع العاقل وذات مع both what يبقى أنا عندي هنا what علشان أنا بقول talking to the customer service team يعني الكلام مع ال customer service team ده هو ده اللي they should be doing. Okay. Number 2, the feedback from the survey يعني الفيدباك اللي جالنا من السيرفي اللي احنا عملناها space we carried out last month has been very positive. طيب الفيدباك دي people ولا object ولا place ولا whatever feedback دي لو احنا ناخد بالنا ان هي object no problems. Okay. Exercise number 1. Select the correct word or phrase to complete each sentence. يلا خلينا كده نشوف هنقدر نختار الإجابة الصحيحة. Number 1. Talking to the customer service team is who, what, that they should be doing. What do you think الإجابة الصحيحة هتكون؟ طبعا talking to the customer service team طبعا احنا ما نقدرش نختار هو لان ده غير عاقل وبعدين what هو ده اللي احنا الإجابة الصحيحة اللي احنا هنختارها لانه هي دي الايشو اللي احنا they should be doing ده اللي احنا لازم نعمله الشيء اللي احنا طالما انا هنا بتكلم على شيء ما يبقى اختار what. Okay. Question number 2. The feedback from the survey which ولا what ولا who we carried out last month has been very positive. اللي احنا أجريناه last month الشهر الماضي has been very positive. What do you think? feedback هنا طبعا دي الكيس نمبر 2 اللي هي object بنتكلم على شيء يبقى طبعا الإجابة الصحيحة which. Okay, question number 3. Problems occur يعني تحدث. Problems occur when ولا what ولا how we ignore demands لما احنا بنتجاهل الطلبات for improvements للتطوير in user experiences. ايه رأيكم؟ problems occur يعني تحدث في حدوث يبقى هنا في time يبقى ايه when. برافو عليكم. Number 4, question number 4. This is oh, what do you think here? Let's have a look at that. احنا اخترنا what بس هو هنا قال لنا what مش صحيحة. تفتكروا هتبقى الإجابة ايه؟ Okay. What do you think? خلينا نفكر مع بعض شوية كمان. ها حد يسمعني الإجابة كده؟ Yes, برافو. whose team فاكرين الكيس اللي احنا اتكلمنا فيها قلنا whose دي بتاعة البوسيسيف الملكية whose team اللي التيم بتاعه is renegotiating the deal with the client. برافو. Question number 5. That's I am inviting you to the feedback session. يبقى هدي سبب هنا. That's why I'm inviting you. عشان كده أنا بدعوك للفيدباك session. Okay. Excellent. Question number 6. This is I was hoping to discuss with you. أقول that's why I was hoping ولا that's who شخص أو عاقل ولا that's what I was hoping to discuss with you. أظن مفهومة جدا من الكلام. Okay. Exercise 2. Select the best answer option to complete each conversation. يبقى أنا عندي هنا هيديني person A, person B conversation، وخلينا نشوف الإجابات الصحيحة ليها. person A هيقول Could you help me understand how it's going to work after the product launch؟ الأمور هتمشي إزاي بعد البرودكت لانش، بعد ما هعمل اللانش على البرودكت بتاعي أو المنتج بتاعي. person B هيقول The documentation التوثيق who is in your email will tell you everything. هتعرفي كل حاجة من الإيميل. ولا أختار You can read more in the report how I mentioned to you. طبعا how هنا اوكي ما اقدرش استخدمها لان هي incorrect relative pronoun. ولا do you think it would be best if you could go through the documentation which I sent you last week اللي انا ارسلتها. طبعا غير عاقل object الكيس التانية اللي احنا اتكلمنا عليها، وده الاختيار الصحيح. اوكي. Question number 2. Person A, what's your feedback؟ ايه الفيدباك بتاعك on product configuration؟ طيب person B هيقول that's not how the team that implemented it did it. ولا why it didn't work is how we expected it to be. ولا the configuration what was what your team did is what we need. ولا هنقول please tell the team who implemented يعني اللي طبقوا أو نفذوا it that they've got our initial approval. بلغهم إن هم جاب our initial approval يعني الموافقة المبدئية بتاعتنا. طبعا هي دي الإجابة الصحيحة. Question 3. Now the entry page has only 3 simple dashboards. Nothing fancy. So تفتكروا person B هيقول إيه؟ هيقول that's why we don't need it. That's exactly what the customers need. بس ده المطلوب. اوكي ودي الإجابة الصحيحة. Question 4. طبعا person A هيقول do we get more support؟ هل احنا ممكن ناخد more support team help during the assessment stage؟ هل احنا هنقدر ناخد اي support اثناء الاسسمنت ستيج؟ طيب الإجابة الصحيحة هتبقى no, the assessment is the easiest part where should be done on your side. طيب الإجابة دي مش صحيحة. تفتكروا أنهي إجابة هتبقى صحيحة؟ نفكر مع بعض شوية كده. إيه رأيكم؟ أيوة الإجابة الصحيحة هتبقى the only people you engage in the beginning are the field teams whom you have already met. هم دول اللي هيتعاملوا معاكم. Okay. Question number 5. Person A هيقول how many people are giving us feedback regarding this issue؟ كم واحد هيدينا الفيدباك بالنسبة للإيشو دي؟ Person B هيقول the number of feedback that we received is good. لا الإجابة دي مش صحيحة. تفتكروا نفكر مع بعض شوية كده، نقرأ كده الإجابات ونفكر. إيه رأيكم؟ حد قالها صح، أنا سمعتها صح كده، برافو عليكم. The number of customers who mentioned it has decreased. فاكرين لما سمعنا في listening عدد الكاستمرز who mentioned it has decreased قل. Okay, question 6. Person A, have you seen the results of the customer survey؟ شفت الريزلتس أو النتائج بتاعة الكاستمر survey؟ Person B هيقول is that the one which، خدوا بالكم relative pronoun كلها اللي بنستخدمها هنا which. okay, is that the one which was sent out last month؟ اللي احنا بعتناها last month. which التي أرسلت. اوكي وهنا نكون خلصنا second grammar lesson اللي هو talking about relative pronoun أو استخدام الضمائر الموصولة. last one اللي هو section 4 grammar the past simple، وده هنقوله في 5 دقايق بالظبط. وطبعا of course خلينا نجدد الشير تاني عشان انا I will share the screen معاكم. Okay, let's have a look again at okay, let's have a look at the past simple with using as if, as though. يبقى ده تالت درس جرامر عندي. نقول تاني اسمه ايه؟ past simple with using as if and as though. ده معناه ايه؟ يعني عارفين كده بالعربي زي ما احنا بنقوله زي ما يكون. هم بيقولوا كده زي ما يكون احنا نعرف الخبر الأكيد. يبقى as if و as though زي ما يكون، شكل افتراضي يعني حاجة مش واقعية. اوكي، خلينا نشوف احنا بنستخدمه ازاي. هي طبعا بيستخدم في المواقف الافتراضية كلها، وزي ما انتم شايفين كده انه انا عندي بنقول انه like the second conditional هو بالظبط زي second conditional او الاف الافتراضية اللي هي ال second case. They are used with the past simple. بنستخدمه طبعا مع الماضي البسيط. Okay, because the situations are not real. لأن المواقف اللي عندي كلها مش حقيقية not real. Okay, واللي هو بيستخدم زي ما احنا شايفين كده بالظبط as if plus simple past. نشوف example عليها. You are asking us to do more work. انت بتسألنا نعمل more work as if we didn't have enough already. طبعا have a look at didn't have اللي تحتها خط بالأزرق دي. did not have ده طبعا simple past منفي، يعني verb هنا have ومنفي ب didn't في ال past. يبقى هو ده الفورم بتاعه very easy. okay, as though نفسها بالظبط as زي الشريحة اللي قبلها as if بالظبط بنستخدمها زي as though. okay, as though plus past simple. وناخد مثال على كده. They are talking as though هم بيتكلموا زي ما يكون we didn't need to worry about expanding. as if ان احنا زي ما يكون احنا مش قلقانين على ان احنا نتوسع. okay, we can also use them with the subjunctive mood. زي انا لما استخدم كده ايه بقول they are treating هم بيتعاملوا معايا they are treating me as if زي ما يكون I were responsible. ناخد بالنا من I subjunctive، بتكلم عن نفسي هنا بشكل افتراضي عمره ما هيتحقق. as if I were responsible. طبعا المفروض I بيجي بعدها was، لكن هنا بستخدم were لأن هي subjunctive حاجة افتراضية وعمرها ما هتتحقق. as if I were responsible for the entire problem. Okay, let's have a look at some exercises. Again, let's share the exercises from here with past simple. Exercise 1, select the correct word or phrase to complete each sentence. Question 1, it space would we couldn't get access to behind the firewall data. ايه تفتكروا الإجابة الصحيحة؟ طبعا it looked as though يعني كما يبدو we couldn't get access to behind the firewall. Okay. Number 2, question 2, the customers commented on the prototype as if كما لو كنا they. طبعا احنا قلنا ان بعدها بيجي simple past. ايه هنا السمبل past عندي؟ will had، مفيش حاجة اسمها will had طبعا. would had ولا دي. didn't have. Of course دي الإجابة الصحيحة لأن ده simple past. Question number 3, looking at the query results. الإجابة الصحيحة تبقى إيه؟ It appears as though. ليه اخترت دي؟ لأن هيجي بعدها they counted customers. Counted simple past. Okay? Next question 4, they are acting as though it could be ولا as if it were ولا as though it has. What do you think? ها دي إجابة غلط، مين يصحح معايا؟ Okay, they are acting as if it were. ليه أنا اخترت دي؟ لأن زي ما انتوا شايفين كده as if جه بعدها it were subjunctive. sorry it were هنا simple past وإحنا قلنا إن as if و as though بيجي بعدهم simple past. برافو عليكم. تمام. question 5 they were talking as though. طبعا هنختار إيه؟ we haven't. طبعا haven't ما تنفعش لأنها مش past. do have مش هتنفع. we didn't have دي past يبقى هي دي الإجابة الصحيحة. اوكي exercise 2 نقوله كده بسرعة جدا في just 1 minute. هنعمل ايه؟ طبعا احنا look at the sentences below and decide if each situation is a hypothetical or real. هنحدد كل موقف ده عندي hypothetical يعني افتراضي ولا real يعني واقعي أو حقيقي. طيب لما نقول they were talking as if we had months to finish the project ده ايه؟ طبعا hypothetical. ليه؟ لأن أنا عندي هنا as if قدامنا يبقى ده مش حاجة واقعية. question 2 it's great that we received the feedback before the meeting. ها ايه رأيكم؟ شايفين as if ولا as though؟ لأ يبقى دي حاجة real. الإجابة الصحيحة real يبقى واقعية. question number 3 we decided it was a good idea to go ahead with the user experience improvement. ها hypothetical or real؟ طبعا ما فيش قدامنا as if ولا as though يبقى something real. Okay, question number 4 it's as though they didn't understand how risky it was to invest in UX improvements. What do you think? طب أنا عندي هنا as though أو as if. طبعا زي ما انتوا شايفين في أول الجملة it's as though يبقى دي ايه على طول hypothetical يعني شيء افتراضي. question number 5 you are talking as if the pandemic had no impact on our ability to deliver on time. what do you think? برافو عليكم hypothetical لأن أنا عندي في بداية الجملة as if. Okay, question number 5 the fact is that we had no choice but to re-estimate the project according to the current capacity. طبعا ما فيش عندي لا as if ولا as though يبقى طبعا real. وكده نكون وصلنا لآخر exercise وآخر grammar lesson I hope you learned I hope you do understand. If you have any comments please don't hesitate to write to me and I will answer all your questions. Thank you so much for today and this is module 1. Please listen to the recording as many as you can. You will get to understand waiting for you next module. السلام عليكم.